What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about the Hex ball from Wolf Athletics. You may have seen this ball on social media. They've been posting pictures of it. It's come on, baby. So you can see that it's dimpled. It's got the PLL logos, team logos on it. Pretty cool. The scientific principles behind why we would want a dimpled ball are very clear. It's an innovation that's been employed by other sports, other sporting good balls for a very long time. For some reason, not in lacrosse. Wolf has made that leap, and the game's going to benefit because of it. So let's go. All right, so the Hex ball. This is one I've had for a few months, couple months, month and a half maybe. Been playing with it. It's all dirty. I'm just gonna put that one down and get a brand new one out. I think it's definitely cool looking. In recent years we've seen some other innovations, some other advancements in lacrosse ball technology, mainly with the balls that don't turn into greasers, with the updated elastomers, or maybe they've just removed the elastomers. I don't know, or whatever it is, the elastomers that were in balls that degraded over time and hardened or lost their bond, whatever their purpose was, something changed with them. It wasn't a permanent bond chemically. And so, we all know lacrosse balls change over time. And so seeing that advancement is huge because greasy, slippery balls, they just don't work. And just about every ball does turn into a greaser unless it's one of, like the Pearl by Guardian or the Mint. Those balls have staying power. The NOxy regulations on balls have changed. They have to be softer now. So things are changing in the lacrosse ball world, but this is definitely the biggest change. And this change makes a lot of sense. I am surprised, and maybe other people have thought of it. They just were like, well, how do we even do that? But if you look at golf balls, golf has been played forever. And it used to be that they used real smooth balls. But what the people who played, I'm talking about like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, what they found is that the more they hit the ball, the more scuffed up it would get. There'd be little divots and dents, and it would actually fly farther the less smooth it was. And so thus started the dimpled golf ball revolution, if you will. The USGA, I think that's what it's called, they've done countless studies, and they're constantly evaluating balls and ball technology, and there's no question a dimpled golf ball performs much better than a smooth golf ball. So the dimples in golf balls, the seams on a baseball, the seams and laces on a football, the seams and texture you get on a basketball, what else is there? Soccer balls, all the seams and the little whatever that is, it's not a smooth surface. All those things add to the ball's performance in the air. But golf balls are probably the easiest to talk about because they probably benefit the most from dimples, being that they're traveling at the highest rate of speed, and their RPMs are probably the greatest, I'm guessing. Don't quote me on that. But what happens is the dimples, they as it's traveling through the air around it is sucked into the dimple and then pushed back out, creating this effect around the ball, which is called a turbulent layer. And what that does is it just breaks up the air around the ball, decreasing the low pressure zone created behind the ball. The low pressure zone behind the ball on a smooth ball creates drag. So it's going to slow the ball way down. It's going to make it veer off course, or more likely to veer off course. What you get from a turbulent layer around the ball is and that veering off course is called the Magnus Effect. There's videos about the Magnus Effect on YouTube. They're pretty interesting. But it's the Magnus Effect is what will make a ball dip, or dip if you're coming straight over the top on a shot. If you've ever stood behind a shooter, say from like 12 yards and more, and you're watching him shoot, as a coach, you're watching form, you're watching everything. But you may see the ball traveling, and 12 yards, 15 yards, it's not that far, but it dips before it gets to the goal. And you're talking about shooters who can shoot, 80 miles an hour in high school, 80 to 100 miles an hour. There really shouldn't be that dip in a short distance at that rate of speed. That dip has always surprised me. And I remember thinking, you got to shoot harder. You know, you're throwing lobs that are arcing from this distance. I never really put it together that Bernoulli's principle, you know, of the turbulent layer and increasing disrupted airflow around the ball. You know, I just thought this kid's shooting like a real softy. But that dip, and you've probably noticed it either in your shots or other people's shots, that's caused by the Magnus effect. If you're shooting sidearm, you may see it as a little curve. You know, you think it's going straight to top right, and then it just kind of curves out a little bit. It's hard to notice from 10 yards. It's really noticeable from like 15. You know, more than that, you're not really shooting, but passes. It's the same thing happens for passes. Long clearing passes from a goalie, you know, cross field, up the ladder, poles, you know, on a clear. The ball is definitely affected by the wind and its surface. So the turbulent layer, the air disturbance that we're creating shrinks the air, the amount of, I want to say atmosphere because, you know, we have a little thin layer of atmosphere around our planet, but it's definitely not an atmosphere. But that layer of air, the pocket of air around the ball as it's traveling, you know, the bigger it is, the more of a vacuum situation we get behind the ball, the low pressure system, or the low pressure area, which, you know, drag, which is essentially sucking the ball backwards. Then you add to that the Bernoulli's principle of, not Bernoulli's principle, the Magnus effect, where it's just slipping in and out of this pocket because there's no grab in the air. So what happens when you create that turbulent layer around the ball? It shrinks the layer of air around the ball, and it creates a much more consistent flight path, consistent speeds, and you know your results are going to be a little more expected. That Magnus effect, it's not huge in lacrosse because we're talking about a dense little ball traveling relatively short distances, but I have 100% noticed it. And if you've been around the game a while and you've seen that dip in shots, or you've seen that, you know, you see a pass coming, and all of a sudden it's dropping. Yeah, that part of that is the decrease in velocity as that's getting to its, you know, point. On big passes, on big, you know, say 40-yard passes, clearing passes, the variation can make it tough, especially, you know, when it does something weird, or it dips, or it drops at the last second, or, you know, you're missing it in the lights and its Magnus effect is making it, you know, funky, or if there's wind involved in the gameplay. All these things can make balls travel inaccurately, inconsistently, and that's a problem. And it's not really a problem I even thought of until this. The Bernoulli principle, which I touched on, basically the principle is that you create a disturbance around it, in this case with the use of dimples, reducing drag, and when you're reducing drag, that also introduces more lift, or adds lift. So less drag, more lift, you know, what we're going to end up with is a more accurate ball. Passing, shooting. I guess that's all we do, right, with a ball. Ground balls probably won't change. So they posted a video, I think it was on Instagram, and it showed probably like a 35-yard pass. The first one, I think it was off stick, and the guy had to go fishing for it. The second one with this, the first one was with a regular ball. The second one was the second one was with one of these, and it was just right in the box. And I saw it, I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, sure. You throw one goofy pass with the bad ball, and then you throw a good pass with the ball you're trying to sell. But when you take it out for the first time, and you're throwing 8-yard passes, 10-yard passes with your buddy, you don't really notice it. Like, it feels like a ball, it feels like a freshie, and you're like, yeah, nice grip, it's whatever. But you back up a little bit, and you're just throwing dimes, and you're like, huh, maybe it's my stick, you know, whatever. You don't immediately attribute it to the ball. But as you back up, and as you start to shoot, and as you're throwing long balls, you realize, wait, there's something to this. You can absolutely feel it. And that's exciting to me. That's going to tighten up the game. That's going to, it doesn't change the game. It's the same weight. It's, you know, the same size, it's the same softness, durometer, hardness, whatever. But it is going to tighten up the game, especially at the high levels, at the college levels, at the pro levels. And I guess this is going to be a PLL ball, and it's got all the PLL team logos on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around the PLL logo. Now that they're adding another team, that might be tricky. I guess they'll have to put the PLL somewhere and just put the last team in the middle. Anyway, so Wolf has spent a lot of time and a lot of money developing this, and apparently as they were in the process of developing it, even Wolf employees were like, come on, that's probably not going to work, it's probably going to do anything, until they got it in their sticks and they were like, okay, I'm sold. There are pros involved, guys who work with Wolf, PLL players who are really excited about this. Jake from Wolf told me one of the guys who was playing around with it the other day, but I can't remember who it was. It doesn't matter. Smooth balls, you can get that, like I said, the Magnus Effect, but you could also get that knuckleball effect where it comes off, but there's no air pressure, like grabbing the dimples here, but there's no air pressure to keep the spin going. So that spin increases airflow. Increased airflow creates less drag with the dimples and lift. That is the Bernoulli principle. So the inconsistent rotation that adds to the Magnus effect, or can. The air is dictating what this thing does instead of your release, the rotation that you gave it with your motion, all kept consistent with the dimples. So the science is completely sound. It's completely proven. It's just not something we've seen in lacrosse balls. So this is super exciting to me. Apparently with this you can, we've all kind of tried to curve balls, like so. I don't have a stick here, but when you turn your stick, you try to get that curve. Apparently this will be easier to curve with mechanics on your shot. It's not going to curve on its own, Magnus Effect, but it may with some tweaking on your release. Like if you come out this way, maybe, and turn the stick a little. I don't know how it's going to be done, but apparently, and scientific theory kind of indicates that, yeah, we may be able to curve this ball a little bit. Imagine that. Imagine throwing like a 98-mile-an-hour heater that curves to the top corner. One thing that Wolf Athletics was they're worried about is the perception that they're trying to change the game, and this in no way changes the game. It's not NOXI approved yet, but they're working on it, which is hard. But they're not changing the game. They have definitely taken a step in improving it. What comes to mind for me is the grooves in a tire, in a car tire. Those weren't introduced until 1908 by Goodyear. Tires were smooth before that. The phrase reinventing the wheel. No, they didn't reinvent the wheel, but man, they made it better by adding grooves. I mean, that changed the game. So this could be the same thing. I have, obviously I'm just an old man. I could probably shoot 35 miles an hour, but I'm around a lot of good lacrosse players. And I, playing catch with this and long ball and shooting with this, even me, I notice it. And so you guys with hard shots and accurate dimes, clearing passes, you're going to notice the difference. So get your hands on these. They are more expensive, and that's because, a year of R&D has gone into it. The tooling costs, the patent costs, the NOXI certification, those all add up. All these things are expensive. Obviously they would rather not pass that cost on to you, but to remain afloat, to be a viable company, you've got to cover your butt. So these are pricier than normal balls now, but they also apparently will go greasy less, or less likely to grease. I don't know if it's because they've got that modern updated elastomer, or I don't know, whatever it is that makes the new non-greaseless balls non-greasy. I don't know if it's got that, or if it's just the more surface area, or the divots, whatever, will be less likely to go slippery. So either way, I mean, they've been using these things for a year in trial and error R&D, and they have noticed that they go greasy less. So that's a good thing. And I don't know what their plan is, if once this is NOXI approved or NOXI certified, if they're going to license the patent, because there's a lot of lacrosse ball manufacturers in the world. And, you know, if this becomes the gold standard, you know, and Wolf's got the patent, they can keep it in-house and they can produce all the balls, you know, and that's thus decreasing price because of volume. Or they can license the patent and license the technology, which is also a great way to make money. It's also a great way to get the ball out into the lacrosse world. So I don't know what their plan is, but I think eventually prices will normalize. You know, so that's a good thing. And I really think this is the wave of the future. And they do too. They're putting a lot of effort and money and time into it. And it's pretty exciting. You know, this thing is cool. And it's functional. And the science behind it is proven. Honestly, from one man's opinion, I think this ball needs to be universally adopted in lacrosse. It just makes sense. You know, and we haven't seen innovation. We see innovation in lacrosse a lot. And like I said, the balls that don't turn into greasers, that's a huge step. Now we add something like this to the ball, and I'm not sure how much farther it can go. This could be the pinnacle of lacrosse ball technology. So that's kind of cool. Oh. All right, guys, go check out Wolf Athletics. Read about these. Get your hands on some. I'm not sure if they're available yet. They're coming. Like I said, they're on the pricier side. I don't know the price. I'll put it up there. Maybe if I can find it. If I can't, then, you know, you're on your own. But it's definitely worth picking them up. It's an exciting step in lacrosse ball technology. I dig it. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.